let's just get into some games. I mean, there were some stinkers. The Lions-Falcons game, the Browns-Titans game. I guess Deshaun Watson might be okay at football, but throwing the ball backwards 20 yards, no. He's cooked. That's for another day. The Bills destroyed the Commanders, but there's some games that really did matter. And we're going to start with the Chargers and the Vikings, a 28-24 victory for the Los Angeles Chargers, despite Brandon Staley committing a fireable offense that almost backfired. And the Vikings had the ball back and things did not work because Kirk Cousins, it was 1:00 Kirk. Usually 1:00 Kirk is like Joe Montana. And things did not happen. Minnesota's now 0-3. Herbert went for 40 of 47, 405 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, to be fair, Kirk did have 367 yards, 3 touchdowns, that one pick. But I think the main takeaway is that Keenan Allen is still good at football. This Chargers offense is ridiculous. And Alexander Mattison should probably apply to his local Wendy's. But this game was very interesting, Joel. I want to get your thoughts on the Brandon Staley decision, the total game. I mean, this was definitely one of the more interesting ones of the early slate.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like when we were talking about like our previous TikTok videos, we've been uploading a lot of TikToks. I made a top 5 list of coaches that I believe way too early, in fact, might end up in the hot seat. And Brandon Staley was number 1 because I'm like, listen,
right there.
I'm telling you right now, even though, okay, yes, the Chargers won this game, it feels like a loss to me still because it's like I don't understand how you have this many weapons. How Keenan Allen, how many catches did he have? 18?
Keenan Allen, like I'm messing with my lights here. Keenan Allen, let me get the final stats here.
I think he got like
218 catches, receiving? 215 yards. Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, like, and you only, and like it that game went down to the wire. And I'm like,
yes.
How did this game go down to the wire? This doesn't make any sense. You should have destroyed Minnesota.
Right.
Like, especially with like, I mean, I know he came back, but Justin Jefferson went down kind of late. TJ Hawkinson was dealing with a little bit of injuries. Alexander Mattison, he stunk the bed again. Kirk Cousins, I mean, isn't it funny how Kirk Cousins has been like the one shining piece in this whole Minnesota Vikings team?
I know.
0-3.
Yeah.
And I saw this morning that, a lot of we're going to talk about the Jets later, but it's been speculated, hey, you know what? Maybe you can trade for Kirk Cousins because everyone wants Kirk Cousins all of a sudden because it's like it seems like Minnesota, listen, they're 0-3, they're tanking. Like you're going to be tanking at this point because it's like you're not coming back from this. And it's like, why keep Kirk Cousins? Maybe go around the league, go see who wants him. The Jets would definitely be a contender to want him. And I mean, I feel bad for Kirk Cousins. I feel bad for Justin Jefferson. Seeing like your talent being wasted this year in this team. You're 0-3. You have no business being on a winless team at this point in the year. It makes no sense. It's just sad.
I saw something that was very strange. It wasn't strange, it was just kind of eerie. And it was basically the Justin Jefferson situation, right? It was a star receiver in Minnesota, had wasted his talents. The rumors are starting to go about this guy getting out of here, but the fans love him. And then there was a picture of Stephon Diggs. It wasn't a picture of Justin Jefferson. We had seen this before in Minnesota, and the quarterback was Case Keenum. It wasn't even Kirk Cousins. And the same thing is happening in Minnesota, where they had to lose a lot of guys on the defensive side of the ball, and just really everywhere. This receiving core is fine. They went out, they got TJ Hawkinson. Now they're getting Cam Akers. This team still wants to win, but how much do you want to win at this point?
Right.
How ready is this team to win? They're not. They're really not. They've got some players, but they're 0-3.
They do. Right.
And they haven't ran into easy teams, though.
Don't forget, this is a team that won 13 games last year, and they didn't change that much.
Not at all.
Really
defensively, they did. Defensively, they did change a good bit, but they've still had a competitive roster. Now, 0-3 is not like impossible to come back from. We understand that. This team isn't dead in the water. People saying that they should trade Kirk Cousins tomorrow doesn't make any sense. We've seen, there's a Alex Smith, Kansas City Chiefs team. I believe they lost. They were like 1 in whatever, and they ended up making the playoffs that year. So it's not done. It's week 3 of the season. It's not even October yet. We haven't even started putting up the Halloween decorations yet. The turkey hasn't even been thought about being carved yet. So there's still a lot of time left. Now, the Chargers, they only had 30 rushing yards the entire game. That's Kelly was their leading carrier, and he averaged under a yard a carry. Josh Kelly, 11 carries and 12 yards. That was a Chargers leading rusher, by the way. We say Alexander Mattison stunk. He had 20 carries for 93 yards. It's not a bad day. Obviously, the fumble situation.
They're clearly missing out Austin Eckler. They're clearly.
Absolutely.
I mean,
and they won. They won.
And they won. Yeah, you're right.
That's the thing. So yeah, this team's going to be interesting. I don't think that the jury's out on either of those squads. Obviously, Justin Herbert is Justin Herbert, and he heard everybody saying, "Oh, he's not an elite NFL quarterback," and he went through 400 yards. So that's done.
Yeah.
But the Chargers, I think both of these teams will be fine. I think it's time to maybe think about hitting the panic button, but not yet. We're getting there. Okay. I do want to take a sidebar. Jordan Love is very good at football. I think it's time to admit. We're going to touch on this Packers game. Packers are down quite a bit. Obviously, Derek Carr got hurt. You had to put in Jameis Winston, and people were, excited to see Jameis Winston, obviously, but concerned for Derek Carr, who maybe he's going to be week to week. We'll see where he goes. But the game is the game, right? Because we can talk about all the external factors, but the 18 points in the fourth quarter and Jordan Love coming back. I just have a quick question. Are you in, or are you still questioning about Jordan Love?
Oh, no, man, I'm in. Let me tell you something. This guy, I mean, I thought him not having Davante Adams would affect him. He looks good.
Oh,
he
yeah.
looks really good. I mean, first of all, think about the mental toughness that it takes for you to come back when your team has not scored a point yet and you win the game in the fourth quarter. And it's like, holy cow. I mean, just like, are we seeing visions of 12 here in Lambeau Field? I mean, Brett Favre, I mean, there's just so much that I'm seeing in Jordan Love right now. It's like history is about to repeat itself for the next like 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
It's looking
absurd.
like that.
It's absurd. And well, history had already repeated itself in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers following up Brett Favre, and now you've got Jordan Love. So it seems like Jordan Love is destined to win one Super Bowl and disappoint for the next 20 years. That's going to be fun in Green Bay.
There you go.
That's just
and he'll end up a Jet.
He'll end up a Jet. He'll maybe get hurt. Maybe he'll go to Minnesota after. Who knows?
At like 37, he'll end up on the Jets. I guarantee it right there.
I think Jordan Love is fine. I think the Jordan Love story to me, obviously, I hope Jordan. I'm not a Packers fan, so I don't hope anything. But I don't know if Jordan Love's going to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback or wherever. But he'll be fine. He's good. The guy's good at football. Okay, we can understand that now. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where they go. I think it's such a good story. It defends the points that I've been trying to make about NFL quarterbacks for probably my entire life now. Yes, even as a baby. No, but sit your quarterbacks for a year. I don't like starting quarterbacks week one of their rookie season. If you can put them in the teams that put them in situations where they can sit for 3 years, they can sit for however long. I mean, Jordan Love came out ready to play. If he played week one, he's not the NFL anymore. He's in the XFL. He's playing for the Battlehawks. Okay.
A guy who's barely played. I mean, you look at him out there, he looks like the most experienced one there.
Exactly. And look at all the rookie NFL quarterbacks. Played. Look at all the second-year NFL quarterbacks that haven't had the opportunity. Look at what Geno Smith did as well. Geno Smith is a reliable starter in the NFL now. Teams are would love to have Geno Smith because he had time. He had time to sit. He didn't work with the Jets because that roster stunk and he got thrown out there. But now Geno Smith is a dog. So that's just my storyline. However, then you just go look at CJ Stroud. None of that matters anymore, right? And we go to this Texans-Jaguars game. The Texans and Jaguars are 1-2.
That's a dog right there.
I mean, that guy can play. I was a big I don't like Ohio State quarterbacks. I'm usually not big on them given the track record. But when that happens, one guy has to break the mold. And CJ Stroud might just be breaking the mold when it comes to Ohio State quarterbacks in the NFL. Yes, it's 3 games. Yes, they're 1-2. But they just went and took down Jacksonville. And I still am not completely sold on these Texans and CJ Stroud. I mean, I'm much bigger of a fan of CJ Stroud than I was when he got drafted, and Will Anderson looks good as well. But to me, this feels like more of a Jaguars story than it does a Texans story to me, because these Jaguars these Jaguars were expected to be a lock for the division. Right now, the Colts are winning the division right now, which is dumb. But to me, this seemed like it was the Jaguars' division to lose. I don't think anybody would disagree with that statement. The Jaguars were supposed to be this lock for the division, just like the 49ers in the NFC West, right? But now they look bad. They don't look, they've got to put some... They look bad, these Jaguars. Yeah. I mean, Trevor Lawrence hasn't played well at all this season. Mm-mm. They barely could score against Kansas City. They don't look good at all. This isn't the team that we saw. And the thing is, this team improved from last year.
Right.
And they don't look good. It's like Doug Peterson the year after the Eagles won the Super Bowl all over again. I don't know where this Jaguar team needs to go. Yes, I know it's early in the season, and I still think the Jaguars are going to put it together, but they don't look good.
I will say on at least on the Texans side, I I'll be the first to admit I know a lot of people were not high on CJ Stroud. I will admit right now I was wrong about CJ Stroud.
Yes, we're wrong.
I did not think he was going to be. I don't want to say I didn't think he was going to be good. I did not think he was going to be this good this quickly. No
Not at
shot
all.
did
Not
I
even
think that
close.
that would happen.
I thought the
So,
Texans were going to be looking for a quarterback in 4 years.
oh,
I
right.
mean, I did. I've said these things.
But
I have said these things. I'm not going to deny I said these things.
But one of the things I noticed, especially in their first game against Indianapolis, now they lost this game, but
Right.
I saw something in this defense that I did not see last year.
Absolutely.
Like you saw the spark that they had. You saw like everyone was excited. Everyone looked like they wanted to play for D'Amico Ryans. Everyone looked like they wanted to every single tackle, they were jumping on each other, going nuts, going crazy. Because it's like already it's like, wow, everyone thought that we were gonna be terrible. And it's like we're actually being pretty competitive. And then
Yeah.
now, I mean, what they're 2-1 now, right? Or are they 1-2?
They're 1-2.
They're 1-2. It feels like they're 2-1 because
it does. Yes.
But the way that they're feeling right now, it's like, oh my God, like you look at the Texans right now, the Texans look like how Jacksonville looked last year.
Exactly.
That's how I would view it. And I mean, on the Jacksonville side, again, like you said, I do think that it's going to get better. I do think it is. Now, me personally, I have Travis Etienne in a couple fantasy football leagues. I'm a little concerned, but not that concerned.
19 carries, 88 yards, mediocre day. Right.
Yeah, it's just mediocre, man. That's all. That's summed up these first 3 games of Jacksonville, just pure mediocre. Because it's like, man, like you're right. Because you go throughout the trade for Calvin Ridley, and it's like, holy cow! I mean, this team was just like a game or 2 away from the Super Bowl. Keep that in mind. A game or 2 away from it was 2 games from the Super Bowl, and it's like you added Calvin Ridley now. Now you're adding like, oh my God, like how is this team gonna lose? How's this team gonna lose that division? And now we're kind of witnessing it right before our eyes, kind of like some other teams in the league that, have been a little disappointing. We'll get to that later. But I mean, you're right. It hasn't looked good, but at least for me, I do think it'll get better.
Right. And speaking of teams that are disappointing, I think you know who I'm going to next. And
Miami.
It's the most, it's the most disappointing thing I've seen in football. Yeah, period. It's the most disappointing thing I've seen in football ever.
Colorado's just having a rough weekend, man.
Rough weekend.
They had a rough weekend.
One of my favorite states that I've ever been to, Colorado, has been suffering for sports. They sacrifice so much for that Avalanche Stanley Cup. Okay. And they've gotten all the buzz with Colorado and Deion Sanders. I think they'll be
right.
Fine. And I said on here, I said on Break Panel that they were, I was like, they're not going to compete in that game against Oregon, and they didn't compete. But if you told me that there would be a bigger gap in the Dolphins Broncos score and the Colorado Oregon score, I would say, have you ever watched college football in your life? 70 points on your head.
Oh my God.
70 points. Can we emphasize that? Can we just give it a moment to breathe?
How do you
70 points?
How do you talk? How do you look at your players after that performance? How do you talk to the media? I don't.
And Sean Payton didn't do well talking to the media.
If that was me, I would have not even gone up on that podium. I would not even done that.
No, you have to. You have to.
Give me the fine. I am not talking to them.
No,
give me the fine.
Have to, though,
I'm not
because
talking.
there's a season left to go. There is a whole season left to go. You have to get on that podium and say we still want to play football.
If possible, I probably would have given it a day or something, because it's like, oh my God. Did you see the look in Garrett Bowles' face?
Oh my
Did you
goodness.
just see? That was so sad.
Oh
that
my
was
goodness.
So sad watching that, man.
Yeah.
I've been here for 7 years, and all I've done is lost. That is so freaking sad. This is a team that traded for one of the best quarterbacks in the league and got worse.
A first ballot Hall of Famer, by the way.
First ballot Hall of Famer, and they got worse. I mean, again, I said this yesterday. I don't think anyone's really blaming Russell Wilson for yesterday.
No,
he doesn't play defense, man. He is not the reason that you guys allowed 70 points. Yeah. He is not the reason for that. Okay.
Yeah. This is the most points in the game since 1966.
I forgot where it was. I think I saw a stat like last night that talked about Pat Surtain and said like, oh yeah, like he rarely gives up touchdowns. He really did blah, blah, blah. I saw him do it at least like twice yesterday.
Here's the thing: he wasn't on Tyreek though.
No, I don't think he was, but he was
He
on
was
chosen.
shadowing, right?
He was on
Chosen
chosen
Yes.
Anderson, and
I know.
and he burnt him.
Yeah, but
I
I
mean,
mean, even though he should. I mean, Chosen only had one catch for 68 yards. That was the one play that you're talking about, the one big touchdown. But I mean, when the thing about corners giving up deep passing touchdowns, when you have a guy rush for 203 yards, when you have
two
Raheem
guys.
Mostert rush for, yeah,
Do
Raheem Mostert do what he did. I mean, what
you
are
know
you supposed to do?
do you understand how crazy that is?
Right, but defensively, that makes it so much harder to defend the pass
They
because
had
you have to come down so many times.
they each had 4 touchdowns. Each they had 8 touchdowns
Yes, there were 10
between the two.
touchdowns in this game.
You know, you know how insane of a stat that is? I don't
Yeah,
think I've ever seen that before in my life. Ever. I don't
yeah.
think I've ever seen that.
No. I mean, well, yeah, we've never seen. We haven't, Joel. We haven't seen this many touchdowns since 1966. Were you
That's
alive in
insane.
1966?
I was about, oh my God,
You
negative
were about
33.
what? You were nothing.
Negative 33.
Negative 33 years old. I mean, this is bad. This is probably. I mean, shout out to Marvin Mims getting a big kick return to just like that was like Chris Paul, hitting a big three to cut the lead down to
All right.
42. But that was just an absolute embarrassment. Now, 726 total yards of offense for Miami, 10.2 yards of play.
Doesn't Tua already have like 1,000 yards passing?
He's up
Doesn't
there,
he?
yeah.
Yeah, he has to. Yeah.
He's up there. Tua he's at 1,024 yards. He's got 8
Yeah.
touchdowns and 2 interceptions and 121.9 quarterback rating. If you don't know what football is, that's pretty good. This is probably the most embarrassing loss from Denver, but here's my thing. Also, Vance Joseph did not get fired. How? How do you give up 70 points as a defensive coordinator and you don't and you keep your job? That's like working at ShopRite and having 100 people come through your store and you give everything out for free and they say keep your job.
How the hell do you keep your
How
job?
do you keep your job? I mean, I'm usually not one to call out for people's livelihoods, but at the end of the day, I mean, Vance Joseph is just one of those guys that has to go. He didn't do it last year defensively for this team. This year, definitely not. At some point, I think he will get a job somewhere else because I mean, I think that this team may go Rex Ryan in the offseason. But if you're a defensive coordinator, you give up 70 points. What other job can you perform that poorly on a single day and keep your job?
At that point, it's like if I'm in that locker room, I don't want to hear anyone saying anything. I just want complete silence. I don't want anyone. I don't want no one talking to me. I don't want to listen. I don't want to listen to nobody. I'm just gonna sit here and just wait to go home. I don't want to. I don't want to talk to you.
Nothing.
Now, how does that happen?
I want to get more positive here. Miami, they're awesome. This Miami offense that we expected, they've exceeded expectations beyond belief, and they have the running game to back it up now. Tua looks phenomenal. This team should be a lock to win the division. Now, this is the Miami Dolphins we're talking about, so you never know. But this offense is just Tyreek Hill looks like he's 24 again. This Miami team and Mike McDaniel and everything. This team is phenomenal.
This team is insane.
I think this team is better than we thought. I was saying this a few weeks ago before this, that seeing the Dolphins destroy Denver like this offensively, it didn't surprise me. Yes, 70 is shocking.
Yeah.
But the offensive dominance did not surprise me.
Yeah, honestly, like I'm looking when you watch their games, it's not even just like, oh yeah, their offense is really good. Tyreek Hill is open by like 15 yards.
Yeah.
There's no one around him. Like
it's like watching college football. This team.
They're wide open every single time Tua throws in the ball.
It's just easy. It's offensive line's fine. They've got good running backs, and the defense is also pretty dang good.
Mike White, he excelled. I mean, he was like, "Oh my god, it's so easy. Oh my god, it's so easy playing down here."
It's phenomenal for these guys. I mean, Miami is going to be a problem.
And for sure.
I mean, if you put up 70, you get to hold the crown of best offense in football for at least a week, I'd say.
Super Bowl contenders?
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah.
I'm not even I don't think they will. But if it somehow gets to Miami, Kansas City in the AFC Championship, and that game might be in Miami at this rate, I mean, anything can happen.
I
Right?
find it very I find it very hard to believe in the future that you tell me that a team scored 70
70
points
points
and didn't make the Super Bowl.
in the modern NFL, by the way.
At least did not make the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I
That
mean, don't expect them to back it up next week. Don't expect.
Oh
them to
no,
go 70.
I know.
I mean, don't expect them to go 70 again.
Anything could happen.
Now, I think that, when you look at it, you look how bad Jacksonville is.
Uh-huh.
You look at Baltimore. We're going to get to them in just a minute. Cincinnati, the AFC does not look good. Buffalo does not look that great. Buffalo looked really good this week, but we all know that they're probably, on their last legs.
Right.
This is a up and coming Miami team that has arrived. So their main competition is what? Kansas City, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean,
so
you would have thought that it would have been the Bengals, but they don't even look all that.
They don't look good. Joe Burrow's not healthy. He's got to sit. I think he needs some time.
By the time we're filming this, I mean they're gonna play in like I don't even know 3-4 hours, something like that. I mean,
yeah. I don't know if it's been announced if Joe Burrow's playing or not.
We gotta wait for tonight. Oh no, it hasn't. It really hasn't. I'm telling you right now, from the moment he tweaked his calf and they get okay, I still think they made the right choice about giving him the contract. A lot of people are
for sure.
It. I think they still made the good choice. Yeah. If you get a team to the Super Bowl, you deserve that type of money anyway. Right. But one of the things that I'm looking at, especially with Cincinnati, is like, listen, our quarterback, the leader of the team, is not healthy. He doesn't look healthy. He's not playing good. We know this is not the Joe Burrow that we're used to right now. I'm not saying call it quits, but I'm just saying prepare for the possibility that we might just have to honestly just I don't want to say tank the season, but
I mean, it's one game.
Look at other options.
It's one game. I know 0-3 looks bad, but 0-3 isn't 0-17.
You're right.
You still have plenty of season left to go. And with the loss from Baltimore, that's embarrassing to Indianapolis. By the way, shout out to the Browns and Bills for winning by a lot of points. Okay, cool. Congratulations. I'm still not sold on either of you, but we'll move on. The Colts beat the Ravens in overtime, 22-19.
Minshew Mania
steps out the back of the end zone and still wins a football game. That's Minshew Mania right there with Anthony Richardson being out.
It's funny when they barely brought it up. Like they barely mentioned it.
Didn't even mention it. Oh, well, you won the game, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So that's interesting. I'm not sold on Indianapolis, obviously. I don't think they have it. I mean, I'm a Colts fan, so it doesn't matter to me. I kind of want, you're kind of in. I thought we were all in on the tank, everybody. I thought the tanks were rolling through, and then, maybe you get a star player later, you get whoever. No, this team is winning for some reason. And Gardner Minshew looks really good. They got it. I mean, the defense doesn't look as bad as it used to.
Wait, how about Zach Moss? Where the hell did he come from?
Yeah, Zach Moss is coming up. Zach Moss, 30 carries, 122 yards. They just gave him the ball. Michael Pittman made a phenomenal catch. This is a huge win for Indianapolis. I think it gives them a lot of momentum heading forward. Obviously, this season is this season, but if Jacksonville plays this bad, the Texans still got a lot of work to do. The Titans stink. If the Colts win the division, obviously they're not going to win the Super Bowl, I'd imagine, but this team at least has a shot.
I'm about to say, I think they have a shot at the divisional round.
Right, they've got a chance.
I think they got a shot there.
Now, do you keep Minshew Mania in, or do you go back to AR?
No, you go back to AR the second he's good.
Have to, right? Because that's your future. That's your future right there. You have to go back to him.
What was wrong with it? He got a concussion protocol, right? That's what it was.
He has a concussion.
Now, what if this happens again?
I'm saying he's got to shut down.
Even in the first week, you saw glimpse of it when he ran into the end zone. When first of all, he did not have to.
Right.
He did not. I saw
it was basically over
in the fourth quarter. He did not have to run into the end zone, and then it's he's banging into the defenders, and it's just dude, don't get me wrong, you love to see it, but at the same time, dude, you're being way too aggressive.
Right. You're supposed to be my quarterback for the next 15 years.
Calm it down a tad, just a tad, or else we might just be seeing another potential Tua situation, and I'm not joking about that.
No, not at all. I mean, you want to. Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's awesome to see Tua playing that well, as he is now, that he was able to come back from everything. But if you see, Anthony Richardson had been in concussion protocol once. He's got a concussion now. This is the second time he was in protocol because he did get checked out for the first one. You don't want to see your potential starter for the next 15 years. I mean, it's a lot of time to get hit in the head a lot, especially as a quarterback. You don't want to see that at all. So Anthony Richardson, again, it's good for a young player to learn. And also Tua, going back to Tua, he learned how to fall properly, because that was his issue. When
Right.
he would get sacked, he would fall and he would land on his head. That was mostly why he suffered the concussions that he did. So, for quarterbacks learning how to protect their bodies, there's a lot out there. There's a lot of people that want to tell these quarterbacks and teach these quarterbacks how to protect their bodies.
You can't mess around with this, man. You just
Not
can't.
at all. I mean, it's a really serious thing for these players. And we're seeing a lot of quarterback now with more mobility from these quarterbacks. These guys want to make plays every time they drop back. So for Anthony Richardson, yes, I want to see you fight. I want to see you fight till the last whistle. But at some point, you got to do it with your arm if you're going to fight. So again, the Colts, they look good. Got to hope Anthony Richardson stays healthy. Baltimore, I don't know, man. I think they passed up on a field goal from 60 yards with Justin Tucker. At that point, you got to try it. He had missed from 60. You got to try it. It's Justin Tucker. He's done it before. I don't know why you didn't trust Justin Tucker in that moment. Maybe he didn't want to go out there. I don't know. But Baltimore, I'm not too worried about them. I think they're still a very dynamic offense. I think they're fine. But definitely an embarrassing loss for that team right there. Now, moving on from the Colts and the Baltimore Ravens, and the Ravens disappointing how they have done, the Patriots and the Jets. The Jets, man, disappointment beyond belief. Zach Wilson, yes, the weather, sure, the weather, whatever the weather storm. I don't care.
It's just so sad to watch, man. It's just so sad. I'm
Is
not even a Jets fan. We're not Jets fans, but that's just so
all.
sad to watch.
I penned this Jets team to win the Super Bowl, but Dalvin Cook looks terrible. Pharaoh Brown just sauce on sauce, and I just don't get it. I really don't get it, Joel.
It's
sad, obviously
man.
losing your quarterback, morality, everything, morale is just gone. But this Jets team just doesn't have life at all. It's done. The Jets are back to being the Jets. Zach Wilson's done.
I've heard like the term, like, we're cursed. I've heard that it was just it's the same old Jets. I've heard this over and over again, listening to the radio, listening to people, and I'm just like, I don't understand how. I mean, the Achilles thing, I can get over it, because it's like, okay, what, he's a little older up there. Okay, he got hurt.
39 years old. Yeah.
Okay, like, you're mad. You're really pissed off, but it's like, okay, I can deal with it. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, it is a big deal, but like, it's not like, let's end it all.
You can come back.
Right. Or like something.
Right. Yeah, there's usually a silver lining somewhere.
But then it's like, okay, well, hold on. This team is still good.
Yes.
They could still do something. We just have to hope that Zach Wilson has done anything. Oh my God, he looks worse. He looks actually worse. I don't think I've seen a quarterback that he looks afraid to throw the ball.
Yeah.
He looks afraid. I'm telling you, I've seen this guy. I mean, what was it? I think like late in the fourth quarter, he had a throw to Garrett Wilson that went for like 25 yards, something. His best throw that he had for these past two games. But it was like, even that, it's like Garrett Wilson had to yell it at him. Right. Yell at him to give me the ball. Like, I do not care if it gets intercepted. I don't care. Just throw it my direction, man. Just at least throw it at me. Oh my God. Show me that you're at least trying. Enough with these, 1 yard screen passes. Oh my, like, it's just insane. And it's like, I saw a clip yesterday of Zach Wilson getting sacked by literally nothing.
Oh, he literally. Just went down. Yeah, he just went down. He's afraid to get hit. He's afraid to throw the football. He's afraid to do anything.
The pocket was collapsing, and a Bills player, he literally just like grazed his shoulder. Yeah. And Zach Wilson rolled and went down, and they were like, wait, what just happened?
In his head, he's like, I got to protect myself. I'm just going to go down. But he very easily could have escaped out of that. But
he absolutely could have escaped that. He just, I don't know if it's a mental thing. I don't know if
everything.
It's everything. It's everything.
The ghost that Sam Darnold we're seeing may not just be a fabrication. They may just be in New York somehow, some way. I don't get it.
How far do you think that these Jets players will go with this until like you start seeing some trade requests?
I don't know, man. It depends who it is. I mean, because nobody's playing well, right? It's not like, oh, I'm playing well, get me out of here. Everyone's just playing horribly. And who do you put? I mean, obviously the injury is the injury with Aaron Rodgers, but how much of this goes on Salah? I mean, the Jets have lost to the Patriots, 15 times in a row now? It's something like that. I mean, it's just bad.
Yeah.
Also, congratulations. The Patriots got to win. I still don't care. I'm not buying the
Yeah.
Patriots. You beat the Jets, whatever. You got to beat somebody good. Mac Jones won a football game. Congratulations. But these Jets, they're obviously the story. They're done. They're not going anywhere, So yeah, I can't wait to see them play Miami. That's going to be maybe another 70-point barrage, and we shall see. But shout out to the Jets for being the Jets that we know they are. But what might be worse, Joel, it might be worse. The Bears, Chicago, Kansas City. I mean, when your team is just becoming the team that you say,
what a dumpster fire, man.
I always knew there were some football players in high school, they had girlfriends and whatnot, even at college level. And they always invite their girlfriends out to the game against that school from, you don't know where they're really from. And they stink, right? The FCS school, the team from New Jersey, team from let's shout out to Spotswood. You might go play Spotswood. Yeah, I'm still shouting them out. That's me bad, but the Chicago Bears have become that FCS team. Have become that. Oh, go watch me play against these guys because I'm gonna go catch a touchdown. Shout out to Taylor Swift. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't need it that much on my timeline, but I do find it funny. We didn't learn anything about the Chiefs. The Chiefs have always been that.
They've always been that.
Chicago and Justin Fields. What? Just what, Joel? Just what?
It's very similar to like a lot of these other situations that we've talked about where it's like you think, who they signed Tremaine Edmonds.
Right.
They signed DJ Moore. Oh, they traded for DJ Moore.
They
mistake.
Traded out. They traded out and said, okay, let's go get this guy a receiver.
They acquired talent. They acquired some serious talent where it's like, oh my God, like look at Chicago. Look what they're doing. Look what they're cooking up over there. That's
Do you
insane.
count Chase Claypool as serious talent, Joel?
Well, okay, that wasn't this offseason. That was this past.
Yeah,
okay, I did not say. I did not say Chase Claypool. But
he was their third leading receiver, so that's gotta say something about that.
I don't think I've seen a quarterback like this where it comes to a point where it's like, we talked about how bad Zach Wilson is being. Justin Fields actually has talent.
Oh yeah,
we saw it last year. This guy was not messing around. This guy was actually like. They said that there's only been like 3 1,000-yard rushing quarterbacks. We all know who the 3 are: Vic, Lamar, now Fields. And okay, another thing is blaming your coaches, whether or not he is right or wrong. You could be on either side of the argument, saying, exactly. Oh, he's totally right, he's totally wrong, whatever. I don't agree with saying that to the media. I don't agree with it.
Right, I agree. I understand the frustration. I understand feeling the way you feel, but yeah, you gotta find a way.
Especially seeing the way that you have been playing, I highly doubt that your coaches are telling you to just stay in the pocket, don't throw, and take the sack. Or see a wide open target.
We all know the picture.
We all saw the picture. We all saw it. And just not even attempt to look at their direction. I highly doubt your coaches are telling you to do that.
Right. They're not.
That, oh my God. Like, it's like, Zach Wilson's mistakes, like, yeah, they're bad. Yeah, it's very bad. Justin Fields are very bad. Justin Fields is like, dude, like you should not be acting like this at all. What?
Now, here's my issue, Joel. What do you do? Right? Because
I don't think there's
getting rid of Justin Fields, let's say they wanted to move on. Let's say they get they might get the number 1 pick and get a chance at Caleb Williams.
Don't forget, they almost did it this past offseason.
They almost took Bryce Young.
They were considering it.
Yeah, but they traded. They got assets. I liked the move because I'm not huge on Bryce Young. He's still. I mean, that Panthers offensive line is a failure. I'm going to talk about them later. But my thing is, this team clearly Justin Fields is part of the problem, but he's only one cog in the machine that needs to be unrusted because this entire team is just. I mean, it's the quarterback, right?
Right.
But I think they're fine at running back. At receiver, they need more depth. And defensively, I mean, you gave up this many points, right? So they're not there. The offensive line needs work. So I would rather it's the same logic with Jordan Love. I'd rather put a quarterback in a better situation than just draft another one, hoping he works, and then just repeating the cycle the Bears have been repeating for 30 plus years now.
Right.
Their best quarterback in their history is Jim McMahon, who's a dog. But other than that, and Jay Cutler, the Bears just have not figured out the quarterback position. So it's just been a dumpster fire in Chicago. And the team that we thought was going to be a dumpster fire in the Arizona Cardinals now actually look good after defeating Dallas. They had the leg up on the New York Giants, and they just went and took down Dallas. Josh Dobbs doesn't look horrendous.
I will say, like, fully no biased or anything like that.
Yep.
The Arizona Cardinals should be 3-0. I think they should be 3-0. They should not have lost to the Giants. I mean, I'm happy they lost, but like,
of course you are. Yes.
But they should not have lost that game last week. Number one.
No.
Number two, Washington. That game came down to the wire.
Right.
A lot of people forgot about that, and it's like, and a big part of the success that Arizona has been getting is the defensive mind of Jonathan Gannon, and a lot of people have been giving this guy so much crap. They've been giving him so much crap, and it's just like, you haven't even seen. Give him a chance. At least just see the team that's out on the field. I mean, I'm seeing guys on Arizona that I forgot his name. Number 13. He's a corner named Clark, I want to say. I saw this man. I see some guys playing in Arizona that I've never even heard of. He's like a 6th-round rookie that they drafted.
Damon Clark, number 33. I don't think corners were 13. Anyway.
He's
the 13 corner.
Yeah, there's a 13 corner.
33. Clark is 33.
I swear. No, his name.
As I'm looking at the defense stats on Google, I don't see any 13 corners. So I think you may be thinking of 33.
I saw him. He wears 13.
Okay, I'll do some research. You keep going.
Go ahead. But his name. Yeah, he's a 6th-round rookie out of like Louisville. Where's number 13?
Keitrell Clark.
Clark. What did I say?
Okay, you said Oh man, we're going down the rabbit hole now.
I'm very curious because I'm very.
It was another C. Oh man. We're moving, Joel.
It is.
You had the right player. Also, there's another player that wore 33 with a name that Clark. We had Clark, and we had Clark. There's 2 Clarks.
There's 2 Clark. Okay,
there we go.
Know that.
There's 2 Clarks.
Look, this just proves that we do not know a lot of these players on this team.
Okay, are you expecting everybody to know the corners on Arizona? Okay, there we go.
But at the same time, the point I'm trying to make is that this defense has been very good. This defense has been and we just saw that against Dallas,
right?
The Dallas Cowboys, who blew out the New York Giants, who blew out the New York Jets. Now, again, it's the New York teams, but at the same time, you should not be losing to the Arizona Cardinals, a team who everyone's been saying is trying to tank. They don't have their starting quarterback. They got a quarterback who they just traded for, like, what, a month ago?
But he's only been there a month, but 17 for 21.
He barely knows any of his teammates. He barely knows any of his teammates.
Exactly.
And he's just, oh my God, like, Arizona, I think, is going to be one of those teams that I wouldn't go as far as to say they're going to make like the playoffs or anything, but they've been like a pleasant surprise where it's like, I did not think they were going to be this good.
Right.
I thought they were going to be much worse than this, but Dallas, on the other hand, I mean, what happens here? This is what I'm very curious about, more on the Dallas side, because I mean, they couldn't do a lot with Arizona. CeeDee Lamb had a very quiet game, I thought, at least for me.
He did, yes.
I thought he had a very quiet game. I think Tony Pollard, did he? I'm pretty sure he had a touchdown. I'm pretty sure
he did not have a touchdown. From what
he didn't.
23 carries, 123 yards. Rico Dowdle had that touchdown, actually.
That was who it was. Dowdle. Okay, I got confused there.
Who does look solid? It is 3 receptions.
Yeah, he does. He's another one that looks solid.
He had a few carries. He looks solid.
Dallas is just one of those teams where it's like you expect a lot from them, being like how they just start off on such a hot streak, and then it's like you just got smacked in the mouth by the Arizona Cardinals, a team that's, not gonna be competing for much,
But every good team, every great team has these games. Like, I'm not expecting Dallas to just wipe the floor with everybody. There's always this kind of game that punches a team like this in the mouth. How they respond, that's what we wait for, right? Because they've got the Patriots, the 49ers, and the Chargers coming up in the next 3 games. They got to go out and win those games probably, or at least 2 out of 3 of those games, because the Niners are the Niners. But if they continue to lose, like let's say they lose to the Patriots, then we got to sound the alarms. But if they go out, they beat the Patriots, they play well against the 49ers, they beat the Chargers, then it's like, okay, They needed to get humbled a little bit. They felt like they were on top of the world because the conversation was, are the Jets really bad, or are the Cowboys just really good, or the Giants really bad, or are the Cowboys really good? Now we just don't know because, again, it's week 3. It's not even October. I haven't even bought my pumpkins yet. But we got to see how they respond, these Dallas Cowboys.
Let me ask you this, though. I don't even know if
Right.
they're on their schedule or not, but let's just say the Broncos beat the Cowboys. What would be your reaction to that?
Embarrassment. It depends the situation, right? Was it a crazy
or
play
the Bears? The Bears.
Chicago, yeah. I mean, if they lose to, if they have another one of these losses, then I'm going to sit there and go, wow, this team might actually just be a disappointment. But,
that's a fraudulent team.
Yeah.
Right
I mean,
there.
also, if they, let's say they lose 4 games and 2 of those losses are Arizona and Denver, I'm not really going to care that much, right? Because it just depends on their total record.
I get it.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
I think you should, obviously, you got to wake up now. You got to say, okay, we still got work to do. We're not going to beat teams 40-0 every game.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. I mean, 16 points is obviously not enough to beat any team. They wouldn't have beat the Raiders against the Steelers. How much do you care about that game?
Not much.
Not much, right? Because Steelers Raiders, obviously, they try to when you know they're marketing it as a rivalry game.
It's not.
That was the coverage. It is.
Oh
it
my
is.
God.
It's historically it is, but they don't care right now.
Yeah, not really.
Fans kind of care. Also, shout out to Pittsburgh fans for absolutely raiding the Raiders Stadium.
Right, you saw that. You saw all really those terrible towels going at it.
Embarrassment. I mean, Steeler fan always travels well, but embarrassment in Las Vegas. You build Allegiant Stadium and you can't fill the place with your fans in the silver and black. That's what happens when you make people from Oakland have to travel all the way to Las Vegas, and that does not really work out a lot of the time. So we'll see how long they're in Vegas anyway.